Hi there everybody, it's Kamal Fernandez here with the puppy, and I thought I'd do this live session with her. So I'm just clearing up all her toys, which she has quite a few of. It's very indulgent little puppy. I'm just going to wait and see if anybody joins me, and just let me know that the audio is coming out. Just shut this door whilst I'm waiting. Hello pup. So hopefully we'll see if anybody joins. Hey puppy. So, good. Just give me a thumbs up to let me know if you can hear me okay. Perfect. So hopefully you can hear me. Good girly, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, hopefully you can hear. Hey, pup. All right, I'm going to jump in and start training. Hopefully you can hear me all. So, obviously the puppy has been with us, oh God, less than a week. I lose track now when she arrived, but yeah, so she's over 8 weeks now. Obviously when you get a puppy home, the primary consideration is getting them settled in your home and getting them in some sort of routine. So she has been really good overnight, and that's because she sleeps on my bed. So I don't like my puppies getting stressed. And I will gradually crate train her, which we started yesterday actually. So I'll just give you the chronology of events. So when I get puppies home, my primary concern is to get them comfortable in my home. So if that means them sleeping in my bed, I have no issue with doing that. Everybody's different. Do what works for you. If you're going to have a crate next to your room, if you're going to have the puppy in a crate from the get-go, my advice is to have it next to you so that you can soothe them. I don't want my puppy getting really super stressed. I don't think that's conducive to my relationship with them. But she's been an absolute angel. She literally goes to bed, and she probably gets up about 6:30, goes to bed probably about 10. Very clearly goes, oh, it's past my bedtime. Gets she'll look for somewhere to lie down and go to sleep, and then she will get up, as I say, about 6:30. So she's been absolutely brilliant. So she's obviously, our primary consideration is getting her settled in. She's now met all my dogs. First 48 hours, probably we didn't do that, or certainly 24 hours. She met Sugar relatively quickly, and she's met Sonic because they were small. And then over the next couple of days, she's met the others. She's fine with the others. My dogs just, roll their eyeballs and go, oh gosh, another dog. So they're very good like that. Jungle in particular loves puppies. And she's very protective of her, so I need to be aware of that. That's something that, she loves her, but she could be, in Tofu as well, she's only, 7 months. So she could be a bit overzealous, but very sweet with her. So again, I'm not allowing them to have unsolicited freedom. One of the questions I asked is, how much freedom do you let your puppies have with other dogs? I tend not to let them have too much until I've formed my relationship. She is with Sugar a lot. Sugar is very indifferent to her. I think I posted a couple of videos where they've interacted and she's tried to engage with Sugar, but Sugar's very indifferent to her. Will engage a little bit, but not play with her. That's what I don't want. I don't want her to bond with my other dogs to the detriment of my relationship. And that's something that a lot of people can fall into the trap of allowing their puppies to get attached to their other dogs and not creating that relationship with them first and foremost. For me, my relationship with my dogs with them as individuals is more of an importance than them bonding with my others initially. That will come naturally and organically. And she'll obviously be integrated into my other dogs. Where are you going? So that will happen over time, which again, I've started to do. So, she's, my garden is sectioned off so I can have her in the garden making nose-to-nose contact with my others. And she'll gradually get to meet them. She met them a little bit just about before I let her out for a wee. So that now it's just in passing, what I call in passing. So she'll be out, they'll be out, she'll go for a wee, they'll sniff around, they'll see what she's been to the toilet, I'll pick her up. And then so we'll just do that for the next couple of, probably the next couple of days, and then gradually she can have more freedom with them. I won't obviously exercise with them until she's a bit older, but she has been on several adventures. So this weekend I was doing a demo for the wonderful Di Martin of Click to Heel in Bracknell. So she came with me to that, and she sort of I had her out obviously in between my breaks, or in between a break that I had. So she, just was potted on the floor Obviously, there is risk to that. If you're going to do that, you need to be mindful of. So she did. She needs to go for a wee, and she went to my sister's in the afternoon because it was my niece's birthday, and she had intermittent time meeting people there. So obviously supervised. She met my niece, my nephew, friends of the family and family members, etc. Everybody was obviously wanted to engage with her, which I supervised, which is not a bad thing, but you definitely want to be aware when you're having a puppy in that situation, they don't get overexposed to people and they get overwhelmed. She's very, very gregarious. She loves people, but I don't want my puppy to be overfaced by meeting so many people. So always gauge the dog's confidence level. She's very, very confident. So then she met some more family at the weekend, and they obviously idolised her. So the setup for that was we had her at Lois's mum's house, and we had an X-pen set up because they have another dog, or Lois's sister has another dog, Reggie, who you may have seen on social media, a Cocker Spaniel cross. He's quite rambunctious, he's quite forward, he's an adolescent male. So we did some face-to-face interactions where he was on the lead and she was off, and then she was in an X-pen and he was able to sniff her when he was off the lead. And we'll continue in that manner for a little while. And it's really important. Obviously, one, you've got the size ratio. She's tiny, he's big, he's not a big dog, but he's big in relation to her, so that would be something to consider. The dynamics, he's quite high energy, and he's also very adolescent and very male at the moment. So what he wants to do is be really intrusive on her personal space, stick his nose, at her back end, and you're getting bored, aren't you? Get that one. He wants to stick his nose in her back end, and I don't want her having that continual rehearsal of that. So we police the interaction again. So you need to think about that when you're bringing puppies into your home. Like, who are the people in your puppy's life, the villagers, so to speak, and who are the other family members, two and four-legged. So she's going to have a lot of interaction with Reggie over the course of her life. Reggie obviously there's not going to be a lot of age difference as they grow. He's 8 months, she's obviously 2, so about 6 months between them. It's really important that they establish a really healthy relationship where she's not concerned about him, he's not concerned and over-aroused by her. So we're cultivating that by having her in an X-pen. So the setup was she had an X-pen, she had a bed in there, she had some toys. Intermittently we'd have her out, he'd be on the lead, and we'd kept on rotating that round. But that is hard work at first. Obviously the ideology would be to have them loose together, but that's not going to be healthy for the long-term relationship. So short-term, we're going to be working at cultivating the right responses from both of them. I don't want them to be running around headlessly, which she probably actually would like to do that. But at this stage of the game, I don't want that to happen. I want it to be where they rehearse good behaviour around each other. So really think about that when you're introducing your puppy to new dogs, especially those that are going to be key members of your family. And don't try and overexpose them. We were there for, a lot of Sunday. Intermittently, so we had her there for a little bit. I took her away, she had a sleep and she had some naps in between, and she was in the X-pen, she had some naps, and then Reggie went off for a walk, I think it was, and then she was, so we kept on rotating it around. That's really important, that you cultivate the right interactions between dog to dogs when you have certainly family members. Hey, you. Get this thing, good girl. When you have other people's dogs that your puppy's going to see intermittently, and you want to certainly allow a lot of time. So she's getting bored, so I'm going to try and train her and do bits with her. So getting to know her has just been my agenda, I should say, has been just getting to know her. She's very, very, very into her toys. You could see earlier I've been cleaning up a collection of toys. She has lots of toys available to her, partly to distract her, partly to avoid her biting us and rehearsing puppy biting, which is really normal. I tend to distract and deflect when they puppy bite, redirect them onto a toy. And rather than getting into a position of confrontation, it's natural for puppies to want to bite you, as they would have done their siblings. That's their way of getting you to interact with them. So really it's just cultivating reinforcement options for me. So the first one is obviously toy play. You can see that she really likes her toys. What she wants to do is do this. She wants to take them to the ground and chew them, which is perfectly normal for puppies. She doesn't understand play skills, i.e. bring the toy back, interact with me with it. She just sees me as the provider of toys, and then she takes them off. So my job over the next couple of weeks, months, is going to be cultivating all those basics where she'll bring a toy back. So she does have several toys that she really likes. She likes this one, but her favourites are most definitely the long-tailed tuggies. So I'm going to use these because they're great for creating motion. And I'm going to start the beginning of a switch game. So you can see she loves this toy, or she likes the tail of these as well. Get this on. Get that one. Yeah. So I'm going to start my little session. Now, she doesn't have a switch on word. It's all just the context of me getting the toys ready. Once I see her consistently understanding that, then I'll introduce a switch on word. A switch on word is really, really important, for pup dogs to learn. So it creates the distinction of when I need them to be focused, engaged, and when they can be on their downtime, and certainly prevents things like arousal issues and the dog disengaging. Yeah, so I'll introduce that in the next couple of sessions. So at this stage, it's just about seeing if the dog is interested in cultivating her interest in toys. When I play with her, I'm doing lots of touching, and keeping the toy moving and relatively low. So I'm not dragging above her head. Yeah, I'm keeping it low. Now what I want to do is try and get off her and snake it around. Yeah, now I'm deliberately playing on this carpet because one, it's got a little bit of bounce to it. So if she does tumble, which is quite likely for a puppy, she's going to be safe and she can get traction, so she's not slipping. So obviously I've got these mats here, which are, again, have traction on them, but they're a little bit flatter. So this is definitely the one that my preference to play with. So think about the surface when you're playing with your puppy. Try and keep the interaction, keep the toy moving. If you allow too much dead time, they're likely to lose interest, okay? Now, it's really normal for puppies not to have a natural retrieve. As you can see with her, she doesn't want to bring it back to me, so I let go of it. Hey, she doesn't show any interest in bringing it back to me. That needs to be cultivated. And a lot of people expect their puppy to bring it back, and this is what most puppies will do. If anything, they'll lose interest. So what I'm going to do, rather than having her rehearse that, I'm going to teach her to switch between toys. So I'm going to do deaden this toy. So keep this toy still and get her onto that one. So this toy becomes active. Okay, now eventually I'll get her to switch between one toy to t'other. Yeah! And I'm being a bad trog trainer because I'm not talking to my puppy. Good goody. Whoa, yeah. Woo. Oh, she's got it. So I'm going to switch her back. I deadened the toy, so you can see I put my toy on my hand on the ground to keep the toy still so she can't pull it. And I'm switching her over, okay? Whoa, yeah. If you watch, I'm tugging it as she holds it still in her mouth, and just every now and again, just tugging it gently to make out like this thing wants to get away. So if she does let go of it, like so, I can make it move. You can see she's really into the chasing of the toy. Good, which is great for me for building that desire to want the toy. So touching her, getting her really used to my hands being on her. Now, some puppies don't like that, so you would just put your hands near them. Yeah, she's been really handled beautifully by her breeder, so I have that as an advantage. Let's do this one. Yeah, good. Yes, oh, you got it. Ha, ha, ha. So try not to let go of the toy, ideally. That's why these have got handles on them. If you're doing this standing up, use two longer toys, and if need be, put your foot on the toy. But I'm sitting on the floor, which is really crucial for a puppy of this size, so that I'm not overbearing and intimidating her. So let's switch back. Ready? Switch. Yeah, get this one. Hey, yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to do one little play of this, and then I'm going to switch over to food. Now, what I do know about her is that she can be a little bit fussy with food that she likes, which is not untypical of the breed. So I'm really just working at the moment about building her desire for food by making the food moving or fun and fast. So you can see she's really into chase. So I'm going to use that when I switch her over to food. So I'm going to get my food ready whilst I'm playing with her. Okay, so I can switch and alternate really smoothly. So my food's in my hand, the toy's still active, and then I stick it on her nose. Yeah, so she really likes this chicken. So you can see there that she didn't even notice. She'll get it. The switching from one thing to another. So at this stage, all I'm working on is, does she want the food? Yeah, get that food. Get that food. You can see her pinging around there. There's no real agenda to my training. It's just building desire because she likes to chase things. And I can let her mug my hand. And I've got, while I'm using chicken, I'm actually breaking off strips. So I can let her bite it as she moves. So that's building up her desire. So I've had several dogs in the past that have lacked food drive, and making the food actually active and a game and almost like a toy is a great way to build their desire for it. So that's what I'm really working on with her. So the first time I used food with her, she I took some and then she lost interest. So I'm using chicken in this instance. Oh, get that, sweetie, get that one. Whoa, yeah. Where hopefully it's high value. Yeah, good girl. So all I'm working on is establishing things that I can use to reinforce that. So no training or no specific behaviour. Often what people do when they train puppies is they want to get on and teach the dog something. They want to teach a sit or a down, or obedience. People want to do obedience skills. At this stage, it's just assessing, what does my puppy want? Whoa, what's this thing there? Yeah. So does she want the food? Does she want the toys? And I need to cultivate that. With some breeds of dogs, like your working breeds, you're going to have a lot more things already built into them. They will have natural food drive, or they might have food drive that might be bred into them. Certain breeds of dogs, get it, good girl. Get it, yeah. Certain breeds of dogs will have that. Mallees, for example, they are so work orientated that this initial bit is really, really easy, so you can more or less start training them from the get-go. With other breeds of dogs, you need to take a more conservative approach to cultivate in them the reinforcement processes, that you, good girl, can use to actually teach the dog behaviour. So at the moment, I'm just working on her food drive. Get it. Nice. Get it. Yeah. So good girl. Get it. Good. Whoosh, go on. Yes, good. Nice. So I can get her to just follow my hand around, and all I'm getting to do at this stage is just mug my hand for food. Really, really simple, just about building her desire for food. Now, I don't know whether she'll switch back to toys. I'm going to give it a go, but this could be where I have some problems, where she doesn't want to switch back. So let's see. See, now you see how her toy drive is waning, because, hey, she's into her food. Okay, she wants that treat, which is great. So I'm going to work it a little bit and see if I get a tiny little response from her. Hey. So I want, ideally, my puppy to have desire for both. She clearly has toy drive, but what she doesn't have is the ability to switch. Really, really important lesson for your puppies to learn is the ability to switch from food to toys. Some puppies have that naturally. Others, it needs to be cultivated and created. Hey, you. Hey. So I'm going to see if I can work at it by making my toy really, really interesting. Hey. And she goes, I don't want it because there's food. I can smell food around. So I'm going to work it a bit more. So I'm going to take it. Pop. Oh, missed it. Yeah. So I'm going to just tease her a bit more. I'm going to work through to see if I can get a reaction. Yeah. Oh, she's still thinking about the food, so I'm going to persevere a little bit more. That's really normal. People often give up at this point. And they revert to food, which essentially the dog is shaping me to dictate which reinforcement. I want to really be able to manipulate my dog's thinking and drive and arousal levels by using an appropriate reinforcer. So let's see this. I'll wait for her to stop sniffing. So if she... So she goes, no, I don't want to switch between the two. Hey, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so a little bit of perseverance. Yeah, and we got her to switch, good girl, between the two things. Yeah, that's good. So that took a little bit of work. That's really normal. But I don't want to avoid that. I want to start that lesson really, really early, where they understand to switch between toys and food. And you can see she's really toy motivated, but where she's getting more food drive and she's building her desire for food, and she was super hungry. This is that was part of her breakfast. So that's another thing. I'm going to use her meals to interact with her. So at this stage, she's being fed all her meals. Yeah, that's better. That's my girl. That's my little wordy. Whoa, that's my girlie. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yes. Whoa, so she doesn't have a release of a toy. I just wrestle it off her. Yeah, good puppy. Good puppy. Nice. Okay, that was well done. Good. So ending my session there, that was good. So I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to take that off her. I'm going to give her the remains of her bowl to investigate in my session. She can lick that whilst I answer any questions. So really simple session. First port of call with a puppy is to get them into a routine, get them into your lifestyle, and start to figure them out. So what I've deduced about her really is that she's a very confident puppy. She's very gregarious, she's outgoing, she's not fazed by new environments or new situations. She's got good desire for toy play. She's got average food drive, which I want to build up, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing that by using her meals, making sure the food is really, really high value and enticing, activating the food, making the food interesting. But the trade-off is now I'm building more desire for food. She's now conflicted about switching between that and toy play. So that's something I want to work on really, really early before I start teaching the dog anything specific like sit or down, etc. So you could see how all she was doing was just chasing my hand with the food in it. I want the dog to be active and interested in that reinforcement so that when I train behaviour, that will transfer into the work. Now, obviously, as she progresses, I might use food that creates her to be a bit more thoughtful, or a food that can be thrown, or food that can be, you know, really, really, really high value food that she can just mug me for. But I need to first create the reinforcement strategies or processes in place that I can use. So she doesn't have a retrieve of a toy. She tugs it really nicely. She was able to switch between two toys nicely. I used the ball as well, wherever that's gone. Oh, yeah. I used the green ball, but she definitely prefers to chase the toys. So she's a puppy I'm going to be using movement and motion to create her desire to interact, which is really typical for a lot of puppies. So all that is information that I can use to progress my training. So great little session with the puppy. I'm going to be doing lots of these this week to show you how I start puppies off and how I build on those simple little sessions, which look like relatively nothing, to slowly introduce little lessons to the puppy. But let's see if there's any questions. You're not going to go to the toilet, are you, hopefully? Let's have a look. So, let's have a look if there's any questions. Oh, hang on. Wish we had done this things like fencing bits off so Tilly could have met Cassie instead of sticking a puppy and a 15-year-old together. Might not have ended up with Tilly being reactive before. Yeah, absolutely. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, V. You know, a really important thing is not to beat yourself up about these things. We live and learn. You know, when you know better, you do better, as Maya Angelou said. So it is a lesson learned. And this took a little while to get how I want it, mainly because I didn't have the best person to start it off. And so it took a bit of work to get that sorted. But now, yeah, I've got separate areas. So it means that if I have residential dogs or, for example, puppies or dogs in season, I can rotate them around. So let's see if there's any other questions. Okay. So not sure if there's any other questions on puppy training and starting puppies off. So I love puppies, as you probably have guessed. And I love this stage when they can do nothing or they don't know much. And it's trying to unpack what I've got to get what I want. So thus far, I'm really, really, really pleased with her. She's just an absolute super little pup. Lots of things that we can use to build a relationship, i.e. her play. Her food drive needs to be worked on. I haven't attempted to really teach her anything, so I don't know how she thinks as yet. That would be the next thing to work on. How does her little mind work? So that will give me an insight into how best to approach training her. Is she a dog that needs to think about things? Is she a dog that needs to be kept engaged about the game? Does she have a good concentration span? Does she have a short concentration span? Is she easily distracted, and so forth and so forth? So all of that stuff will form a plan of which I will use to train her. So yeah, great little session there for the puppy. Short and sweet, you know, keep your training sessions with your puppies really short. Don't go on too long. People tend to go on too long with their puppies and thus they lose interest, the puppy loses interest. Try and keep it short and sharp. So we'll do probably 3 or 4 of these sessions a day. One of the other things that I do with my puppies is making a point of feeding them out and about. So obviously I fed her some of her meal here in this session. I will feed her, I've got to take one of my others to the vet this afternoon, so sugar for an injection for her allergies, so she'll come with me. Hopefully if the vets have time she can go in there and meet the vet. That'd be a nice, or the staff, that'd be a good experience for her to have, to get her used to them. That's another important lesson to do with your puppy. Obviously being a coated breed, she's got an appointment with the groomer in next week, the week after next week, something like that. So that's another person that's going to be integral in her life. So start that young. Or fundamental errors that people make is they wait too long to get those sort of things established. Anybody that's going to be part of your puppy's life moving forward, make sure that they're introduced ASAP. But yeah, nice little session for the puppy. Any questions, feel free to post on the thread. I'm going to be doing lots of these over the next week and the next couple of weeks, and showing how I grow that initial, the seeds that she has, or the natural things that she has, to getting the things that I want. So yeah, fun. Love puppies. Whatever you're doing, guys, enjoy your dogs, and yeah, see you all later.